It's the suns and the solar energies, positive and negative, that manifested into what's on this planet, including human beings. Okay, so while I'm here, I might as well just revealing what this is all about, because you got to think about harvesting of humans, man. Okay, melanin is important. This video just said melanin is important, right? Melanin is this UV absorber. Computers work on electronics, electricity. Melanin is a conductor of electricity and magnetism. First, let's look up etymology of computer. Okay, I'm going to go into the etymology. Let me do this. Move this screen. Let's go into the etymology of computer. 1640s, one who calculates, a reckoner, one whose occupation is to make arithmetical, whatever, calculations, agent noun from compute, right? 1640s, you have a breakdown, and this is describing a human, okay? And then from the 1897, you got calculating machine. Do you see the difference? So one who computes as a human can be called a computer. All right. You got to understand artificial intelligence. We're going to go back and break down eumelanin and pheomelanin. But I want to show you this right quick. If you haven't seen this movie, Surrogates, 2009, right? You got to pay attention to dates too. The Reformation of knowledge for the eumelanites came in the 90s. It started in the 60s. Okay. This is based on cosmic alignments and natural cycles of time, where we as eumelanites, the original humans on the planet, the first civilizers and the preservers of knowledge, we began to wake up. Okay. This movie right here will let you know where we're going to, right? So let's go back to this. This is important. Your biochemistry, all right? Your biokinetic makeup. I could have went into Wikipedia, right? But this is real. So people will be like, oh man, using Wikipedia, blah, blah, blah. Melanin is a complex polymer that originates from the amino acid tyrosine. The oxidation and the processes of tyrosine into eumelanin is really the point. You understand? Because there are eumelaninites and there are pheomelaninites. Humans and mankind races, And in both processes of melanin in the oxidizing of melanin and eumelanin and pheomelanin is different. One is the original process, and the other is a mutative process, right? Coming from the amino acid tyrosine. What does melanin do? Period. What does it do? Period, right? Melanin provides pigmentation to your skin, eyes, and hair. The substance also absorbs harmful UV ultraviolet rays and protects your cells from sun damage. Okay, when you say harmful UV radiation isn't harmful to a eumelaninite. It's harmful to pheomelaninites. And that's why this is broken down right here. In the case of us, you would just say the substance also absorbs UV ultraviolet rays, right? And charges your cells. That's what happens for eumelaninites. Remember, it says we became identified alongside of the mankind races down through evolution, right? And so this definition in the way that is given, it doesn't apply to all of us. Your hair, your innermost layers of your skin, your pupils, and your irises. Melanin. Okay. It will tell you there are only three types of melanin: eumelanin, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin. Okay. Neuromelanin, the black pigment in your brain, lesser degrees of neuromelanin causes mental dis-ease, right? Your pupils, eumelanin, are black for a reason, because of the photon interaction, the photonic interaction, and the absorbing of light as well. Okay. The substantia nigra and the locus coeruleus, if I said that right, areas of your brain. The medulla and zona reticularis, areas of your adrenal gland. The stria vascularis of your cochlear duct, part of your inner brain. All requires melanin. Okay. Not the mutated version, the pheomelanin, the original version, eumelanin. Do you understand? So God, right? Because Jesus said, the Lord, it says in the Bible that the Lord God is a sun and shield. The sun activates the melanin. So how are we talking to God? Through the melanin. Okay. The melanin is taken in the photonic frequencies and rhythms of the celestial universes. Let's continue. Here we go. What are the types of melanin? Eumelanin. People with brown or black hair have varying amounts of brown and black eumelanin. Do you know why that's written like that? Because we're not really black people. Like when you talk about black Indians, what are you talking about? When you talk about black people, what are you talking about? Really and truly, when you get down to the nuts and cranny of this is a descriptive term from people who do not have strong brown and black pigmentation. Every race gives the rule on the planet, seemingly, right? But it's brown and black because we are brown people. Okay. Black is for the hair, iris, neuromelanin. It has to be black. Black is black is black is black. Where there is no black eumelanin and a small amount of brown eumelanin, it results in blonde hair. Okay. You need the blackness. Pheomelanin, this says this is for your lips, nipples, and other pinkish parts of your body. People who have equal parts eumelanin and pheomelanin have red hair, right? So pinkish comes along with pheomelanin. What would you call white people, right? More people inclined to white and things of that nature. Pheomelanin, you got to understand the activities. We're going to go over the activities. Neuromelanin, while euromelanin and pheomelanin control the colors of the things you see, skin, hair, and eyes, neuromelanin is responsible for the color of your neurons. Okay, we got in melanin protection, benefits of melanin. Protection from UV rays. Melanin protects your skin by absorbing harmful rays, including UVA, UVB, UVC, and blue light. Protection against reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species are byproducts of your body's cell processes. When ROS accumulate in your cells, that can lead to stress, premature aging, and health concerns such as diabetes and cancer. Melanin scavenges for ROS, boosting antioxidants and eliminating free radicals. This is why Dr. Malachi York said, keep your melanin clean. Disorders. You see the disorders. There's a lot of disorders. How can I increase melanin? Though many products claim to boost melanin levels, there isn't any research that supports their effectiveness. Experts continue exploring ways to naturally increase melanin to prevent sun damage and skin cancer. Who was worried about this? There's also a common misconception that tanning is a safe way to increase melanin. In reality, this practice significantly increases your risk of skin cancer. Okay, so let's go back, right? Because I want to hit wiki. I just want to let you know this is scientifically studied. It's been scientifically studied since 1968, right? Because you get into the Greek and then you get into a more breakdown in the wiki, and this information based on research is correct. Okay. So this is the process, right? Melanin is produced through a multi-stage chemical process known as melanogenesis, where the oxidation of the amino acid tyrosine is followed by polymerization, right? That's the natural process for eumelanin. But look, pheomelanin is a cysteinated form containing polybenzothiazine portions that are largely responsible for the red or yellow tint given to some skin or hair colors, right? So you can see right there that the processes are not the same. Okay, the processes are not the same. And so eumelanin is what's really cracking, right? In the absence, hold on. Let's go here. In an average human individual, eumelanin is more abundant in tissues requiring photo protection, right? Such as the epidermis and the retinal pigment epithelium. I don't know what that is, but I'm not going to go into it right now. In healthy subjects, epidermal melanin is correlated with UV exposure, while retinal melanin has been found to correlate with age, with levels diminishing. Oh, as old age, you begin to lose the U melanin in your eye, right? Okay, I'm not gonna go over that. The human epidermis contains approximately 74% eumelanin and 26% pheomelanin, largely irrespective of skin tone. Okay. Exposure to UV radiation is associated with decreased risk of malignant melanoma, a cancer of melanocytes, melanin cells. Studies have shown a lower incidence for skin cancer in individuals with more concentrated melanin, i.e. darker skin. And so for a long time, there's been a push, even up to this day, that sun skin is not in and will never be in. And that's bullshit. Okay? That's where all the hate is coming from. We glisten and shine in the sun. Okay? Our active nature, our high energetic natures, the fact that we can damn near do anything we put our minds to. Why do you think society is the way it is today? COINTELPRO. They don't want the Black Messiah to raise up. They don't want the Black Messiah to raise up. Can there be forgiveness for what happened to our ancestors in the 60s? What happened to our ancestors in the 1800s under enslavement? Can there be forgiveness, mercy, and forgiveness? Okay, we can't truly be us and be trying to operate the way they want us to operate. We got to know the truth. The truth to set you free. You got to understand this science. If you don't understand this science, teach it to your kids. Okay, because the negativity, the hate, the racism, the derogatory terms and things of that nature, this is how you counterattack that type of low frequency nature. You know the truth. The truth is genetic. Okay. The hospitals is making money. I mean, where are all the diseases actually coming from? What is the number one disease that hospitals want to cure today? It is cancer. It's cancer. Okay. It's mental disease. This all has to do with neuromelanin, eumelanin, black pig, not the red and yellow pigment, pheomelanin, the black and brown pigments. Now, look, if you want to know the real, my mate is a biologist. You know what I'm saying? She understands chemistry. You got to understand chemistry to understand biology. So this is the knowledge. It's not about if I'm a Black American, an African American, a Black Indian, a Hebrew Israelite, an Egyptian, a Nuwapian. You know what I'm saying? That don't matter. When you get down to the ching of it all, the battery on this planet, right? Black people on this planet not representing in their full capacity under God because of obstacles, right? That's keeping us distracted and detoured. What force exists on this planet that's keeping Black people separate and ununified? Because it wasn't like that in the 60s and the 50s. Yeah, it was some bad apples in the bunch. Of course, every race, every nation has bad apples in the bunch. But for the most part, we knew what we were standing together for. So what has entered? What force has entered in the past 30 to maybe 50 years, 30 to 40 years, that has entered, that has kept Black people separated, unknown, now not knowing who the devil is, now not knowing about these satanic demonic forces that are spiritual, air-like, gas-like. Okay, if you listening to something that's spiritual and physical, you melanin. Okay, and conditions, natural conditions on the planet Earth, in human beings, natural conditions will create a Black person. Okay, so pheomelanin, right? Pheomelanin is also present in the skin, and redheads consequently often have a more pinkish hue to their skin as well. Exposure of the skin to ultraviolet light increases pheomelanin content, as it does for you melanin. You're a pheomelaninite, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be you melaninite, right? But rather than absorbing, check it out, check this out. Rather than absorbing within the hair and skin, reflect yellow to red light, which may increase UV radiation exposure. Okay, it may increase the exposure of the skin to ultraviolet light increases pheomelanin content, as it does for eumelanin, but rather than absorbing light, rather than absorbing photons, rather than absorbing the photons that is making the chemical biological reactions in eumelanin and the melanin to activate, right? This is getting reflected. So there's no melanin activation. Okay, there's no melanin activation within the hair and skin. Reflect all the blonde hairs are reflecting the light, which may increase damage from UV radiation exposure. Right. Pheomelanin production is highly dependent on cysteine availability, which is transported into the melanosome, reacting with dopaquinone to form cis-dopa. Cis-dopa then undergoes several transformations before forming pheomelanin. Eumelanin is like bop, 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 eumelanin. This is like bop, 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 pheomelanin. Pheomelanin is different from eumelanin in that the oligomer structure, I would assume that's how the cellular structure looks when the eumelanin and pheomelanin molecules are bonded together to form these polymer chains, right? I assume, I can look that up. Incorporates benzothiazine and benzothiazole units that are produced instead of DHI and DHICA when the amino acid L-cysteine is present. If it's like over the head, don't make it be over the head. Don't make it be over the head, because they are not like us. They are not like us at all. Okay? They are not like us. What we do and what they do based on frequency of the brain is different. You can't when you blend them, then what happens? Okay. When you limit your power and raise up their power, what happens? There can't be weakness. There can't be no weaknesses. You know why it can't be no weaknesses? This is the strongest shit out there that we got running through our body. Neuromelanin. Okay. Catechol-aminergic, however you pronounce that shit, right? But see, I be looking at stuff like this. It's like energetic, you know, the amine, right? The ending of prayer, the amun. Let's look at these neurons right quick. Catecholamines, the catecholamine neurotransmitters include dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. And if you don't understand this, that goes along with eumelanin. Okay. So what is society today that they're high dopamine state? Drugs, alcohol, big booty, BBLs, raunchy, trash rap music, you know what I'm saying? And a market to sell, you know, the hip hop look today, all of that stuff is high dopamine. Okay, it's high dopamine. This also goes along with, but see, eumelanin can control that shit. They are void of eumelanin, and this is running through them too. Right? So that's where the drug, they drug. You understand? Blade. What was the drug? The blood. It's the blood. However you pronounce that. Agent or drug is a chemical which functions to directly modulate the catecholamine systems in the body or brain. All right. Adrenergics and dopaminergics. Dopamine, adrenaline. What is that connected to? That is connected to neuromelanin. Okay. What is the number one drug that took us down? Crack. They started binding shit to that shit. Okay. I believe freebase is pure cocaine rocked up. Is pure though. I don't know how you bind it, right? But you know how crack is made. All right. So all of this is binding chemicals. All of this that day is binding to your melanin, and neuromelanin, right? The neuromelanin is a drug. Okay. And so when you don't have that drug in your head, you start going crazy and shit. They got names for it, but really you kind of going losing it. Humans have the largest amount of neuromelanin, which is present in lesser amounts in other primates. Well, I tell you about the humans and the mankind races. The pheomelaninites can't be humans if they don't have no eumelanin. See, you gotta put it together. Let's read that again. Humans have the largest amount of neuromelanin, which is present in lesser amounts in other primates. They are primates. We're not primates. They are primates, though. And totally absent in many other species. The biological function remains unknown, although human neuromelanin has been shown to efficiently bind transition metals such as iron, as well as other potentially toxic molecules. Therefore, it may play crucial roles in hypothesis and the related Parkinson's disease. (1960s) is when they classified it. 1955, okay. Melanin associated with nerve cells was discovered. Melanin associated with nerve cells was discovered. Okay. Neuromelanin. Yeah, so that's, let's see what else there. All right. And so here's more of a breakdown. Okay. Here's more of a breakdown. And so you got to explain how other human beings got on, how other humans got to other continents without having an ancestral line from Africa. Nobody has explained that properly yet, right? But you can't really explain it because the true consensus and truth is that all humans come from Africa. Now, you may not be a human. You understand what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, all humans come from Africa, right? That's how God made it, and you got to understand who God is. So if you believe in the spook God, right? The God of the Bible is the spook God. Okay. The Son of God is the representation of the spook God. Okay. He came in the form of what ghosts look like, which is white, which is why he is considered the Holy Ghost to them. Okay. He's not the Holy Ghost to us. Right. And when was a ghost ever holy? You understand what I'm saying? Where do you find ghosts? In the cemetery. Okay. Once again, it tells you the ratio of you melanin is 74% to 26%. Some humans have very little or no melanin synthesis in their body, a condition known as albinism. Now, all races can make albinos, okay? But an albino out of a eumelanin albino still retains and sustains the look of a eumelaninite, and is still, I would say, beautiful looking in regards to all the rest of a eumelaninite, right? You can still see that an albino eumelaninite is African. Yeah, so that's the breakdown. I want to see if they got a breakdown of the pheomelanin chain. So this is what needs to be understand, this pathway right here. Okay. And it's already explained in the video. Don't make it complex, right? The thing about pheomelanin in the pathway is not the same as eumelanin. Okay. Now, here's more of the reasons why there's a difference between eumelanin and pheomelanin people. Okay. Europeans are carriers of the derived allele CLC24A5, a known cause of non-syndromic oculocutaneous albinism. Okay. They have these alleles. Okay. There's another one. It's CSLC 24A5, 42A5, or something like that. This causes albinism. The dopamine, norepinephrine, however you say that. All of this stuff is important, right? The lesser degrees of the melanin. All right, nicotine has an affinity for melanin containing tissues because of its precursor function and melanin synthesis, or its irreversible binding of melanin. Right? Physiology, evolution. The first modern humans had darker skin as the indigenous people of Africa today. Following migration and settlement in Asia and Europe, so you got Europeans and Caucasians. Okay. Caucasians, Asians. We're not Asians. The selective pressure dark UV radiation protecting skin decreased. Where radiation from the sun was less intense, the selective pressure dark UV radiation protecting sun heat genes decreased, where radiation from the sun was less intense. This is what they wrote. This resulted in the current range of human skin color. Who is the original people on the planet that still exists today, that still got that same energy today, that bring that same positive upliftment today? Why are black people acting the way? Because we've been around y'all. You are the face of what's in America today. The white man, the politicians, the presidents, okay? You power. What they say, when you in Rome, do as the Romans do. You don't have no choice. Okay. And so there's ripple effects when our people have less. Okay. We've seen that in time. When people have less, there's uprising and upheaval. Okay. But you're creating the force, the negative force, which is the stimulation. You see what I'm saying? This is powerful. This resulted in the current range of human skin color of the two common gene variants known to be associated with pale human mankind skin, pale ghost skin. MC1R does not appear to have undergone positive selection, while SLC24A5 has undergone positive selection. You got to look that up. Effects. The effects. Okay. You got to get that in your head. This is coming from the sun. This is coming from the sun. All right. So when you see this structure right here, this is carbon, COOH, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen. You got, that's melanin. My bad. When I seen that S is for snake, serpent, and Satan. Right, there we go. Okay. Nitrogen, hydrogen, the H, the N is nitrogen. Nitrogen like nitric oxide. Okay. When you think of nine science, Nuwapu is an igniter, ignition by the positive forces of nature. Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen. Where do these elements come from? And I'm gonna show you this. And with that being said, I'm gonna let it ride. Hopefully, I can get it simply. What elements does the sun create? The sun primarily produces helium through the fusion of hydrogen in its core. Right there, you got to understand the photon-photon relationship of electromagnetism. Okay. So in a sense of how melanin is activated, right, you can say that this is the processes, the early processes of Black people. If you can get that. It also forms trace amounts of other elements like carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. Okay. So you would say hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. Okay. And so that's what elements does the sun create? What elements make up melanin? You see that? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Can I go back? The sun primarily produces helium through the fusion of hydrogen in its core. It also forms trace amounts of other elements like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. Hydrogen is already in there. What is melanin primarily composed of? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Nah, don't, come on, man. Come on, man. For real? Hold on, let me see what elements make up DNA, divine nature, in Africans. Oh my God. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So what is a pheomelaninite? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What is a pheomelaninite? Right? Because if you melanin is made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, you need sulfur, cysteine, benzothiazine, and benzothiazole to make up pheomelanin. You know what I mean? And get this under your belt. In the coming times, this will be a major factor in the future of America and them trying to prolong their natural extinction. In the coming future, you're going to see them talking about this as preservation of who they are. They're already dealing with it right now. It's just not, it's not on common TV. This is not on the news channels. This is not, it could be spoken on social media, whatever information circles you are on. Okay. Some of us already know that melanin has value monetarily, right? But when you put this together, or if you tap into this video, if you happen to tap into this video, all right, it's your time to wake up and come up out of the matrix. Because we are the true people of God. And with that said, I want to bid you a peace, right? Y'all stay great. Until next time, salute to AJE Vision Bites for the information in the video to back up the information that's already known. And for those that don't know, well, you know now. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, y'all take it easy. Peace.